The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening. I would like to call the March 4, 2025 City Council meeting to order at 7:30 p.m. 6:30. Thank you for correcting me. Thank you.
I'm here for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Protem. The public is encouraged to join the meeting online or by phone at the numbers printed at the agenda, which can be found on the city's website at www.diamondbarca.gov or in person. Main Auditorium, South Coast Air Quality Management District. We have also allowed public comments to be submitted in advance to the city clerk. If any were received, they will be noted for the record when we get to the public comments period. This meeting is being recorded, and by participating, you are giving your permission to be televised. This meeting will be rebroadcast every Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. and alternate Tuesday at 8 p.m. and archived for viewing on the city's website at www.diamondbarca.gov. Now we will proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance, invocation, and roll call. Please, Mayor Pro Tem Steve Tai, can you lead us for the Pledge of Allegiance? Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mayor Pro Tem, and then please remain standing for the invocation by Cantor Paul Bush, Temple of Beth Israel.
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Bush, please unmute yourself.
There we go. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor Tang, Mayor Pro Tem Tai, members of the council, city staff, fellow citizens, thank you for the opportunity to share an invocation at tonight's meeting. I think probably most of us are aware that this is a holy spiritual time for many faiths. Just today, we begin the 40 days before the Easter Sunday with Shrove Tuesday. Our friends in the Muslim community have begun Ramadan just a few days ago. And in the Jewish community, we are also looking forward 40 days to our holiday of Passover and also to next week's celebration of the festival of Purim. With that in mind, I offer these words of invocation for this council meeting. Our God and God of our ancestors, you preside over the destinies of people and of nations. All of them owe allegiance to your law of universal justice and right. The peace and welfare of all depend on their acceptance of your law as supreme. Grant that our nation may ever acknowledge your sway. May we never, in the pride of our power, be moved to seek domination over other peoples. May we never, in our enjoyment of ease and luxury, turn a deaf ear to the cry of the oppressed and the impoverished of all lands. May we ever extend to other nations the hand of friendship and strive for the unity of all humankind, that together we may effect the abolition of oppression, poverty, disease, and war. May you speed the day when those blessings which you have showered on our country become the common heritage of all humanity and of all nations. And may these words inspire the council this day. And we say together, Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk Santana, can you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Chow?
Yes, I'm here.
Councilmember Liu is absent. Councilmember Lowe?
I'm here.
Mayor Pro Tem Tai?
Here.
Mayor Tang?
Here. Thank you. City Manager Fox, are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda this evening.
The agenda is hereby approved. Now we have a presentation of city towels to outgoing commissioners. Council members, colleagues, please step to the center of the stage to present the city towels to the outgoing commissioners. working. This is a very honor to present the city tiles to the outgoing commissioner for their service for our city, and they have done a good job. They devote their time to our commission, and they make excellent decisions. So here, on behalf of our city, the council members will present the tiles for the outgoing commissioners. We're going to start with Park and Recreation. Aaron Salo, please. Please come forward. One at a time. Want to say a few words?
It was an honor and privilege to serve on the Parks and Recreation Commission. Thank you again. That's pretty much it.
Thank you. So let's take a photo together.
It's a moving photo. We're moving forward.
Thank you. Next recipient is Brian Washington. Brian?
Showing off there a little, huh?
For you.
Thank you. Well, I aim to please.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Wow, what a pleasure. So I'll be brief. I just want to thank Mayor Pro Tem Tai, Councilmember Lowe, and Mayor Tang, and Councilmember Chow. I appreciate the faith in me. You all voted for me. I'll give that to Councilmember Liu as well. Thank you to my family and friends who are here today, and the last 7 years of service with the city, GPAC and Parks and Rec, and now on to Planning Commission. So thanks so much.
Hold on over here. Is she bothering you? No. Is she bothering you? Okay, just let her know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next winner is Mahendra Garg. Mahendra is not here?
I don't see my hand.
All right, we will go to the next. Mr. Ray Wolf from the Planning Commission. Thank you.
So before we take the picture, I just want to thank the council members as well for the faith they've had in me. Brian, as you move on to the Planning Commission, Greg and his team are fantastic. So it'll be an easy transition. I want to thank the city manager. Dan is doing a fantastic job for this community. And I want to thank the council for what they've done for our community. We have a beautiful community, a safe community, and we're doing a lot of great things. So thank you to all of you and Dan and everybody that works for you. It's been a pleasure. I've been on the commission for almost 10 years. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good luck.
Well, I said it's winner because I really believe they have won this honor. They work very, very hard. Yeah, okay. Okay, then next is Traffic Commissioner Surendra Mehta. Mehta. You're here. Congratulations, winner.
Thank you.
You won a prize.
Back to you.
Oh, thank you.
Want to say a few words?
I will.
You are okay. Good.
Thank you.
Please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mayor Chia Tang, Mayor Pro Tem Steve Tai, Councilmember Andrew Chow, and Ruth Lowe. Thank you for having faith in me to serve the city. It's really an honor and privilege to live in Diamond Bar and then be associated with the city of Diamond Bar. Traffic and Transportation Commission, I have enjoyed for the last over 9 years now, thanks to Pro Tem Tai for putting a lot of faith in me and asking me to serve on that commission. I really have enjoyed it. And of course, our manager, Dan, and David Liu, and the whole team helped me just to understand what commission is all about. And then I could also contribute. Whatever I could contribute, I'm really proud of that. Thank you so much again, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. The next, Manisha Sulaki. Did I pronounce it right? Yeah.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Liu.
10.
Mayor Tang. Sorry.
It's okay. That's
Oh,
your
okay.
time.
I'm not sure how many years I've been here as a commissioner, but I think it's about over a decade, 14 years, I would say, as remembering my services in Parks and Recreation. That's where I started. Also started at Traffic and Transportation, and I continued. I started living in Diamond Bar since '88. My daughter was born in '89. And since then, I've been active with schools. I'm active with healthy, dance and exercises that I've been doing, and I've served as a commissioner. And I have been privileged. I appreciate our city. I appreciate our council members for all they do. And I think each one of us should be very proud of our city and for what we are today. And I take this pride today for being here for over a decade. So I appreciate the staff, especially David Liu, Cindy Murphy, she's not here, but all the staff in the commissions that I have been, it has been an excellent experience. And my liaison with the public as well as the council members has been great. Andrew Chow, you first came to our commission in Parks, and the next thing I knew, he was a council member. So, that's how it goes. You come in, you make a difference, and you move on. And thank you, Ruth, for always supporting me. I'm looking forward to moving on with the new commission some next 2 years, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
honoring
you.
me
Make a
today.
difference. Thank you. All right, let's go back to the seat.
No, no.
So we're going to move on to the next item because we have a proclamation today. Today is a Women's History Month proclamation. We do have some members from the Women's Club today to accept this proclamation, right? Please come forward.
I think spread them out is fine.
Should I come in between?
In the center. I'm going to read it. Read the last paragraph.
Okay.
All right, today we are celebrating the Women's History Month. And Diamond Bar City Council does hereby proclaim March 2025 as a Women's History Month in Diamond Bar and encourages observance through programs, ceremonies, and activities. And here's a proclamation for you.
Thank you.
Want to say something?
Thank you so much. We appreciate all of the council, the mayor, and of course, all of the city of Diamond Bar for supporting us. And we look forward to seeing you all at all of the events that we hold. Pass it on to.
Oh, someone, I'll say something. Yes, we've been here, Abby likes to say, for more than 3 or 4 decades, and it's just such a privilege to be honored tonight. And because we consider it a privilege to be a part of the Diamond Bar community.
I'd like to thank you on behalf of the Diamond Bar Women's Club. My name is Abby Howe. And this is the second year that we have been fortunate enough to receive the proclamation. And I'd like to thank you very much for considering us for that. Especially this is Women's Month. And we are very active in the community and will remain so until we're able not to be active.
I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of all of us that are here and the ladies that aren't able to join us here this evening. Thank you for the honor.
Hi, I'm TJ. I'm the first male member of the Diamond Bar Women's Club. Yes. Hi, thank you. Yes, thank you to the City Council. This is an amazing honor. And yes, now more than ever, we need to support the women in our community. And we are doing great work. So if you're interested in joining the Women's Club, please come on down. We would love to have you. And we're having a lot of fun. So please join us.
Rachel? You're good?
Good.
You good?
Thank you.
All right, let's have a photo session.
Joe, you're supposed to be in the picture.
She is, really.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank you.
thank you,
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
thank you, thank you. Now I can. Move on to next city business, city manager report and recommendation. City manager Fox, are there any reports?
Mayor, no additional reports this evening.
Thank you. Next session is public comments. Public comments is the time reserved on each regular meeting's agenda to provide an opportunity for members of the public to directly address the council on consent calendar items or other matters of interest not on the agenda that are within the subject matters jurisdiction of the council. Although the city council values your comments, pursuant to the Brown Act, members of the city council or staff may briefly respond to public comments if necessary, but no extended discussion and no action on such matters may take place. There's a 5 minutes maximum time limit when addressing the city council. At this time, I will call up speakers who have submitted a speaker card first. Then City Clerk Santana will ask for those callers joining the teleconference who may wish to speak on the public comments. Now I have received speaker cards from Cynthia Yu.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, city staff, and members of audience. My name is Cynthia Yu from Diamond Bar Library. I would like to invite everyone to join us this Saturday, March 8th at 2 p.m. as we celebrate Women's History Month, meet author Katie Rogers and Ailey Erlandson and discuss their book, Women of Walt Disney Imagineering. These two legendary female Disney Imagineers will talk about their personal stories from years spent designing and building the Disney theme parks worldwide, and share insights into their roles as trailblazers in their fields. This program is generally sponsored by the Diamond Bar Friends of the Library and suitable for school-age kids, teens, and families. March is Teen Create Month. Teens are invited to join us on March 10th at 4 p.m. to find out why establishing goals and prioritizing self-care are so important. Teens will have the opportunity to get creative as they create a personalized punch card to track their accomplishments and keep them motivated. All LA County Library locations will be closed this Thursday, March 6th, for our annual Self-Development Day. We are always open online. Get ebooks, audiobooks, movies, music, and more at our website, lacountylibrary.org. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Joy Juarez.
Thank you very much for the time. My name is Joy, and this is Ellen.
Hi, I'm Ellen Horowitz. Thank you for letting us speak to you tonight.
We are from the Diamond Bar Women's Club, and we just wanted to announce our Flapjack fundraiser that's going to be taking place on Saturday, March 22nd at Applebee's on the corner of Grand and Valley Boulevard. We are selling tickets for $15. It is to support the Miss Diamond Bar Scholarship Pageant in addition to the Walnut Diamond Bar Women's Club scholarships as well that we will be distributing to local high school seniors on April 20, May, thank you, sorry about that, May 21st. For more information, just let us know. We have a flyer right here that we are have for distribution, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker is Noel Plunkett.
Mayor, council members, thank you for your time. My name is Joe Plunkett. We have been residents in Diamond Bar for over 30 years. The action I am proposing for the City Council to take is to proclaim its opposition to the ongoing unconstitutional and illegal actions of the current federal administration and some of its related groups. These include, 1, sequestering authorized funds that have been duly authorized and directed by the Congress of the United States. 2, disbanding or hobbling agencies that are legally established by the United States Congress. 3, unlawfully discharging U.S. civil servant employees. 4, providing unauthorized access to agency individuals, to systems, and to databases of the federal government. 5, reversing DEI policies. And 6, turning its back on Ukraine and other issues. For those who would say this is a federal government issue and not a local government to take a stand, I would provide the following. 1, each of our personal and business data has been released to non-governmental agencies. 2, Diamond Bar receives approximately a third of its revenue, approximately $10 million, from intergovernmental resources. They're state, county, and federal in 2023. Some of is federal funds. What is state and county are either funds that come from the federal government or are significantly impacted by the federal government's policies. 3, California provided $587 billion to the federal tax rolls in 2024. Our local schools received $5 million in federal aid in 2024. Our roads and infrastructure, such as the 5760 project, law enforcement support, and EPA regulations all receive funding from the federal government. 6, federal action is affecting local inflation, consumer confidence, and I suspect federal layoffs. Recently, I was in an event that the California Attorney General, Rob Bonta, outlined the state's efforts in regard to this. Whether you agree with the current administration or not, the citizens of Diamond Bar deserve to know where the council and the individual council members stand on these issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker is Dan Reynolds.
I think we're close. Was that Dave Reynolds?
Dave,
Dave
yes.
Oh, okay,
Dave.
okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Good evening, Mayor Tang, council members, city staff, fellow residents of Diamond Bar. My name is Dave Reynolds. I'm a 36-year resident. I'm here tonight to speak to you as president of my homeowners association, Cimarron Oaks 8, the north end of town. Not to be confused with Cimarron Oaks 1, 5, 7, and 11 that are all in Diamond Bar. We're independently incorporated. We all have separate boards and management companies. I hate that the original builder wasn't creative and give us different names rather than the Roman numerals, but it causes a lot of confusion with vendors that we've dealt with. I'm here to talk about, it's bad on me because this was on an agenda a couple of meetings back, I guess, but I missed it, so bad on me. I wish I could have made the comments then, but it's regarding the solid waste management contracts that you had reviewed and made decisions on. I don't know if there's chances for modifications based on what I will be speaking about tonight. Again, I'm sorry that I wasn't here so you could have taken into consideration during your deliberations. But the devil's in the details. So it's my understanding that Valley Vista will be going to residential sector and waste management to commercial. There's a lot of logistics involved. So, I mean, I know you're doing your work, especially in the residential community for you're doing your due diligence to see if you can lower costs for community members, and that's appreciated. But what I had to go through whenever there was a program change, we've been with waste management for a long time, but whenever there was a program change, we have a master bill account, and there's 161 units in our HOA. So each unit has a sub-account with waste management, and it's very complicated. It's not straightforward like in a single-family home account where it's just one account and waste management deals with that one account. For us, we're paying the bill, the association, on behalf of the residents through their HOA dues, but each resident has a right to request a bulky item pickup and other items, and it causes a lot of confusion. When the green waste program came about, there was a lot to deal with waste management and working with the city here. So with this transition, it's going to be like multiple programs changing all at once. And I see that it's going to be a nightmare. I would hope that for my particular type of HOA, where there's multifamily, but it's individual cart, not 3 cubic yard bin service, but individual carts, just like single-family home neighborhoods. I think there's between 15 and 20 of those in Diamond Bar, and probably around 3,000 residents. I have a friend at Montefino. She says there's 545 there. And again, the logistics are very difficult. It's just, I'm very busy as president of the HOA, and what I've done having to do with solid waste management programs takes a lot of time whenever there's changes. So I don't know if there is a way to modify this for that particular segment, multifamily, residential, but with the single cart service, or if it's too late for that, maybe something to think about in the future, because I don't see this as going to be an easy transition. In our particular case too, we do this for security reasons, but the garages do not have individual unit letters, so had to work a long time with waste management whenever they had to roll out a new cart or a bulky item pickup. It caused a lot of confusion, so I had to work with them on maps, and then they had an independent contractor. And I know waste management took time to develop systems to have all those sub-accounts under the master account. So I'm just giving fair warning that if this continues the way it is and this transition is made, it's going to be a lot of work on our part to establish everything again with a new hauler, and I'll probably be dealing with the city a lot as well. But anyway, I'm sorry that I was not able. I don't know if that would have been of value to you when you were considering the contracts, and bad on me again for not following the agenda. I have to be more diligent in that. And anyway, thanks for your time.
Thank you. That's all the speaker cards I have received. Now, City Clerk Santana, is there any caller on the phone or on the email?
Mr. Mayor, there were no emails submitted for public comment, and if any member of the public joining this meeting via teleconference would like to address the City Council, please select the raised hand icon in your GoToWebinar program now. No hands raised, Mayor.
Is there anyone else that will address to the City Council? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public comment session. We'll move on to schedule of the future events and consent calendar. Sure, Councilmember Lowe, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick question, Mr. City Manager. In response to our speaker, Mr. Reynolds' question regarding the changeover from waste management over to Valley Vista, is there a common, I believe I asked the question last time, if there was a question about if there were some glitches or there were some issues, I believe there is a number that they can call because we have a section that's devoted to the environmental component of this contract. Is that right?
Yes. Mr. Reynolds' comments, we're well aware of the specific and unique concerns that he has in the Cimarron Oaks number 8 neighborhood. We've worked very closely with Mr. Reynolds on a number of things, including using smaller vehicles in his community, given kind of the unique features that are there. We'll continue to be available to assist Mr. Reynolds and his community to make sure that the transition goes well. We understand that we've put a lot of work and a lot of capital into ensuring that his community had good customer service with Waste Management. We're going to do the same thing with Valley Vista. In fact, this afternoon, staff and members of the Waste Management and Valley Vista teams met all together, both haulers with staff, to discuss specifically the transition. We even brought up some of the unique concerns that our multifamily neighborhoods have, and the fact that we're going to need to work very closely with them to ensure that the transition and the unique changes that we had made in the past roll over moving forward with the new hauler providing service in those areas. I can't guarantee that everything will be perfect in a transition that involves about 20,000 accounts, but I can add that we're working to try to get it as close to that as possible, and we will work with Mr. Reynolds, as we have for many years, to ensure that we can provide what his community needs.
Thank you so much.
And this issue is only unique to their community, or there's some other community that has the same issue?
Each multifamily community, every neighborhood has its own features, right? Some of the multifamily communities have tighter spaces. They may have different private streets. We take that into consideration to try to ensure that our haulers recognize that and modify their service as need be within the powers that we have. Sometimes we're able to meet the request, sometimes we're not, but we try to work with those community leaders like Mr. Reynolds to address those issues and work with the haulers kind of as a liaison between the haulers and those communities to meet the need that they have.
Thank you. Is there any other comments? No. So, okay, we're going to close the public comment session. Go next to the schedule of the future events and the consent calendar. City Manager Fox, can you please announce the schedule of the upcoming events and then proceed with the consent calendar?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. On the March 11th Planning Commission meeting has been canceled. Coffee with the Cop will be held on Wednesday evening, March 12th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Paris Baguette in the plaza at Diamond Creek at the corner of Golden Springs and Brea Canyon. The Traffic and Transportation Commission will be meeting on Thursday, March 13th at 6:30 p.m. in the Windmill Community Room at City Hall. The Walnut Valley Water District will be holding a mulch giveaway event on Saturday, March 15th from 8 a.m. to noon at their offices on Brea Canyon. And our next City Council meeting will be held on Tuesday, March 18th, starting at 6:30 p.m. here in the AQMD auditorium. On the consent calendar this evening, you have approval of the February 18th regular meeting minutes, approval of the check register dated February 5th through February 18th, adoption of a proclamation declaring March as American Red Cross Month, and approval of the Department of Health Services agreement with the County of Los Angeles through June 30th, 2029. And that concludes the consent calendar for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Would anyone like to put any items of the consent calendars for discussion?
No, I move for approval.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would like to pull item number 5.4 for a quick question.
Somebody want to make a motion for?
I'll make a motion to approve the rest of the consent calendar items.
I'll second that.
We have a motion from Councilmember Chow, and we have a second from Mayor Pro Tem Tai. City Clerk Santana, can you take a roll?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Chow?
Yes.
Councilmember Liu is absent. Councilmember Lowe?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tai?
Yes.
Mayor Tang?
Yes. Motion carries. Councilmember Lowe?
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a quick question on item number 5.4, which is the contract with the Department of Public Health Services with the County of Los Angeles. As I was reading the report, it just caught my eye. Under the analysis, it says regarding the analysis of the contract with the county. The county, regarding creating the contract, it states the county engaged in a process to receive feedback from area cities, including city managers and their staff in virtual sessions and working groups. Feedback was incorporated into the final updated contract that's circulated to cities for consideration and approval, which is what I believe that's attached to our report today. So I was wondering if you can share with us what were some of the feedback that our city gave to the city with respect to this contract. What did we see as needs of our cities that was important to us to put in our contract?
As far as our comments, we did not have any specific changes or recommendations. We were monitoring what was being put in there, and it was very similar to the previous contract, and this is a master agreement that happens every 5 years. Probably the biggest change is, and Anthony, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of the requirements that any amendments to their health code and health requirements that would require the city to be consistent from an enforceability standpoint.
I'm sorry, you lost me. Can you say that again?
So if the county amends their public health code, we're obligated to amend our municipal code to provide an equivalent enforcement, so everybody's on the same set of regulations. This is similar to our IVHS contract and enforcement regarding animal control, so it's not uncommon that the enforcement agencies pass down to the local agency as well.
Okay, I get that. So I get that in that it gives us consistent enforcement, but that's not a mandatory action, is it?
It is under the agreement.
It is under the agreement.
It's so that the health officials of the county are able to enforce the regulations here in Diamond Bar.
What if we don't agree with that?
We would have to get out of the contract and form our own health department.
With respect to like 1 or 2 items, that would be required. In other words, you know, a lot of times we get a lot of directives from state government saying, you know, this is the law, you have to conform. Is this analogous to that? And is there a rule that says we have to do that?
Well, the contract says that we're agreeing to do that by contracting with the county to provide health department services. Most of the regulations pertain to food handling, and also really most of the regulations pertain to food handling. I'm not aware of any city that disagrees with health department regulations with respect to that. So it's not an issue that has come up.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Is there any other comments?
Okay, motion to approve item number 5.4, Mayor.
I'll second.
We have a motion and we have a second. City Clerk Santana, can you please take a vote?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Chow?
Yes.
Councilmember Liu is absent. Councilmember Lowe?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tai?
Yes.
Mayor Tang?
Yes. Motion carries. Now next is a public hearing. We have none of the public hearing. Next session is a council consideration. The next item is fiscal year 2024-25 mid-year budget review. Mr. Fox, do you have anything to report for the budget review?
Yes, Mayor. Our Finance Director, Jason Jacobson, will be making the staff presentation.
Good evening, Mayor Tang and members of the City Council. It is my privilege tonight to present you tonight with the mid-year budget update. I have a brief presentation to go over, and I'll jump right in. I will not read everything on the screen. hopefully it's big enough for the audience at home and in the council chambers here. This is the general fund revenues is what we're looking at here on this slide. And I have it in major categories. Obviously, there's hundreds of accounts, but this is a summary spreadsheet. And I just wanted to just show you the overall year-to-date receipts. At the bottom, you'll see there's a column percent received sort of in the middle there. And year-to-date, we're about, as of December 31st, 24% received, which is pretty standard for city revenues. We do have a couple adjustments that we are recommending for the mid-year update for the general fund. To get started, we have a slight decrease in sales tax revenues recommended at this time due to a decline year over year mainly and just overall trends. Categorically, it's led mostly by state and county pools, which are predominantly online sales, decreasing about 126,000 year over year. Fuel and gas stations are down 84,000. Food and drug category is down 26,000. Building and construction category is down 23,000, and business and industry 10,000. So overall, working with our consultant who prepares our analysis for us, we have a recommendation to reduce those revenues by $220,000. We have an increase in the franchise fee category due to waste hauler service volume of $30,000. We have another reduction, kind of in tune with the sales tax revenue for building fees. This reduction of $200,000 is based on current activity. Engineering fees have a small increase of $1,800 due to a scheduled contract increase for street sweeping revenues. We have an increase in cost reimbursements for $244,000. $20,000 of this is for city attorney fees related to the waste hauler contract negotiations. And another $224,000 of this is for the reimbursement related to the City Hall roof replacement project, which included the replacement of the boiler, the removal of the photovoltaic system, and the re-roofing. Overall, the total reduction in revenues is $143,900. Moving on to...
Jason, before you move from that page, I'm not sure we really need that page to answer my question. How do we account for gas tax being down when gas is through the roof?
Well, gasoline is about 1.1 million of our overall $6.6 million annual revenues from sales taxes. So the gas tax is due, mainly due to volume and gas price at the pump. So it's a measure of both of those. Which one is which at any given time is, it's a gamble, I think. But just year over year, we had a peak, I think, in the last couple of years, and we're just not seeing the volume. Possibly due to that.
So people are driving less, but still spending more.
I'm going to say that it's the number of electric vehicles that do not use gas in our city.
That's a good point.
And, to me, that's kind of a trend.
Right.
And I mean, my question is going to be for later on is that if that's identified as a trend, what are we going to do about that? Because the trend is only going to go in that direction. So,
yeah, we've asked our consultant to, this isn't the first time we've explored that. And there's no analysis yet to speak of regarding EVs, but the solution is going to have to come, at the state level. And I don't know if there's anybody lobbying for that at this point.
Isn't the state pushing for a miles driven tax? Is that not making up for the lack of gas tax revenue for us?
I'm unaware of the numbers around that.
Do we collect any, do we have any revenue sharing or any rebates that comes to us from charging stations that we've installed around town?
We have some small fees from the City Hall charging station, but otherwise, no.
So we're losing all of that income to the number of, thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. And I'm waiting for this slide to progress there. Oh, and it went too far. Okay, I'm sorry. Here we are with the general fund departmental budgets. Overall, down at the bottom there, we're trending as of December 31st at 39%. This is mainly due to just a few categories that are under expended as of December, such as law enforcement. Looks like we, not quite half of the invoices had been received at that point. Engineering is a little under expense for professional services mainly. Road maintenance as well, under expense there. Those usually come in along the summer. And general fund transfers outs are about 38%. And those are related mainly to CIPs. So as those costs are incurred, as they're funded by the general fund, we transfer those out. For the proposed mid-year adjustments in the general fund, we have city attorney budget adjustment of $151,500. $56,000 of this is for special legal services with respect to ongoing code enforcement cases that are taking additional resources. $95,000 of this item is for general legal services, not typically part of the city's normal operations, such as the acquisition of the pony field and the waste hauler agreement negotiations, some of which I previously mentioned will be reimbursed. The city clerk is seeing a reduction of $54,000 due to the savings in the elections budget. Human Resources and Risk Management is requesting $50,000 for professional services pertaining to new labor negotiations and labor relations. The Animal Control budget is, staff is requesting $25,000 increase there due to revenue not meeting the anticipated budget, resulting in a shortfall, which is essentially passed on to the city's general fund. And we're requesting a transfers out reduction in the line item for this to reflect the savings on the City Hall roof rehab capital improvement project, which resulted in an $87,600 savings to the general fund. The overall total appropriations request for the general fund is $84,900. And lastly, just a summary slide. And again, there's more details in the agenda report. I just wanted to go over the other funds, the other governmental funds in this case, and the internal service funds. We have some small requests herein. Besides the general fund, we have $10,000 being requested for the law enforcement reserve. $8,000 of this is to replace the flock cameras that were vandalized, and $2,000 is for small tools and equipment for law enforcement. We have a $25,000 request from the Prop A fund for dial-a-cab services due to increase in anticipated activity. We have $200,000 requested for the Prop C funds to allow for additional project management salaries to be allocated there for staff working on the traffic-related Prop C projects. The Integrated Waste Management Fund is requesting a budget of $73,500 for AB 939 revenues to reflect increases in waste hauler activity. In addition to this, we're requesting a adjustment for about $14,000 to cover Earth Day related expenses and some community education around the waste hauler transition and contract services for the community mulch program. We have a slight adjustment in the beverage container recycling grant for revenues and expenses to reflect the grant cycle revenues for about $600 and expenses for about $5,500. Also included in tonight's resolutions related to the mid-year item is a reclass of one accountant to a senior accountant and one human resources technician to a senior human resources technician. The estimated total of both of these adjustments will be about $4,000 for the remainder of the fiscal year, and these will be able to be absorbed with current salary savings resulting from vacancies, so there is no recommended budget adjustment for these items. And that brings us to the staff recommendation, which is to adopt Resolution 2025-05, amending the fiscal year 24-25 municipal budget, revenue estimates and appropriations, and adopt Resolution 2025-06, amending the city's fiscal year 24-25 compensation plan. And that concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any comments, Councilmember Chow? Any comments?
I did have a question about the sales tax. Is that, does our consultant foresee that as a trend going forward where we have less and less sales tax coming in? I mean, is it enough of a decrease for concern? I guess that's what I'm asking.
I do have the preliminary estimate for next fiscal year, which is up about $100,000.
Oh, it's up?
Yeah.
Oh.
But down from the original estimate for the current fiscal year.
Okay.
So yeah, it's up and then down and then gradually getting back to where we were.
Councilmember Lowe, any comments?
It seems like our revenue is trending down, but our expenses are trending up. We don't like to operate that way. Do we have a plan to reverse that?
Well, absolutely. We are obligated, as you know, for our city policy to adopt a balanced budget every year. So we go through every line item, and we have a number of initiatives, I think, in the works. You know, we're redoing the fees at this point in time. So
Well, that's increasing our revenue. Are we doing anything to reduce our expenses at all?
yes, I believe, you know, we're actually starting to have those meetings tomorrow to go over the sort of the approach to the annual budget for this next fiscal year. And we will be looking at where we can save, as we have here in this mid-year budget with the reductions that we have.
Okay. I mean, I get it. I think that as a city and our population, everyone demands more and more. So we feel like we want to give more and more, but that costs more money, but then it's not coming in. So it's really, it's not an easy task, so thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
Mayor Pro Tem Tai? You're fine. I have a question that you mentioned there's a decrease of animal services revenue. And the revenue from that is majorly coming from licensing, right? So there's a means that we have a decrease of licensing, decrease of ownership of the pets. Is that?
I'm going to hand this answer off to Anthony Santos, who manages the
Thank you, Mayor. Excellent question. So in general terms, I'm just going to talk really briefly. This year is what we call a canvassing year. What that means is IVHS and their team goes out in the community and they remind individuals, residents, and pet owners that they need to license their pets. So typically what happens is we usually have an increase in revenue when we have the canvassing. That didn't necessarily materialize this year for a couple reasons. One is the number of pets is decreasing. The other is we are limited in some of the areas that we can canvass. So as an example, we are prevented from accessing the country to license or canvass. The country prevents us from going there. So there is a portion of the city that we cannot go and canvass. That is a challenge. But we have been working with our team, our community relations folks, to try to see how we can increase the awareness for pet licensing. But unfortunately, that's just a limitation that we're having to work through. But overall, the revenue is about average to last year, but it is increasing relative to original projections. So that's something that we're aware of, and we're trying to see if there's other ways that we can educate the community to license the pets through the online DocuPet, which is something that IVHS allows residents to do. They can simply go online, register their pets, whether it's dogs or cats, as a way to try to increase that revenue. So that's the current estimate as of right now.
Thank you. Sure.
Thank you, Mayor Tang, for bringing that up. So the country doesn't participate with IVHS in the what we go through with our dogs and cats?
So let me further clarify. So IVHS will go to the country if there's a request for service. They are an essential arm of our public safety team. So if somebody requests service, they will go up. But they have expressly prohibited IVHS from going to canvass to let residents know that they need to license their pet. And that's something that we've gone back and forth with their management company, and they have told us specifically that we are not allowed to go and canvass specifically to let residents know that they need to license their pets. So that's something that is a challenge, and I'm just being upfront.
No, I appreciate that, but how do we reach, or IVHS reach the folks in the country? That's essentially, they're not, what do we just talk about? We have to do things the way that the county says it. Now we have this policy that we are engaging IVHS for this, and I doubt very much that it's an issue. I bet that the dog owners get something in the mail and they take care of that and stuff, but I would be more interested to know, if I'm in a gated community, maybe I don't want strangers canvassing in my neighborhood, but how is, not you, Anthony, and not us, Diamond Bar, how is IVHS dealing with that directly?
So This is a situation in which the community management company and the board of the country reported that they were not going to allow canvassing because they considered it solicitation. IVHS disagrees with that. However, in the negotiations between the city attorney's office at the time when this happened, and this was probably 4 or 5 years ago, because I remember talking to the city attorney from a vacation in Hawaii about this, we did not have the legal standing to disagree with their interpretation at that time. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be an attorney. I can just report back to the city council that that's what our city attorney reported back to us. As administrators of the IVHS contract, we felt that it was fair that the canvassing be allowed to proceed at any location in the city, but at that time it was determined we didn't have the ability to conduct operations that they deemed to be solicitation.
I'm sorry, then what's stopping other gated communities from doing that?
Well, that's a decision that their boards and homeowners associations, I guess, would have to make. And depending on what the services that they were trying to prevent, it would have to go through some type of negotiation with the legal teams, as this one did. We have access in case of a public safety emergency. This was deemed to be different because it was essentially going door to door to remind people that they need to license their pets. So what we did in the absence of being able to have officers on patrol in the neighborhoods in the country, we created a community relations marketing program in which we targeted those areas that were not going to be canvassed on foot. We provided that information directly to the board and the property management company so that they had that information at the time, and we followed that since. And that's been the way that we've dealt with that matter, with that specific HOA.
Any other comments? Can we have a motion to approve this?
Make the motion to approve. You want to do both at the same time? To adopt resolution number 2025-05, and also motion to adopt resolution number 2025-06.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. City Clerk Santana, please take a vote.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, and I will add there were no emails submitted for this item, and there's no hands raised on the line at this time. Councilmember Chow?
Yes, thank you.
Councilmember Liu is absent. Councilmember Lowe?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tai?
Yes.
Mayor Tang?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. Next session is the council subcommittee reports and the meeting attendance reports, council members' comments. I'm going to start with Council Member Chow.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to first thank staff for the report tonight on our mid-year budget review. I think we're on a good path, so thank you for that. A couple meetings I attended over the past 2 weeks. I'm actually an appointed commissioner to the Los Angeles County Small Business Commission. I was telling Mayor Pro Tem Tai that I drove 2 hours to go to a 2-hour meeting and 1 hour back, but it was very helpful. So they had a presentation from the Department of Economic Opportunities, or DEO, from LA County. They presented a lot of grants designed to help small business owners who were affected by the fire. And March is the last month to apply. I forgot what exact date, but there's a lot of information on the Department of Economic Opportunity, DOE's website. So I do encourage small business owners to check it out, see if they qualify for any grants. I also attended the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee meeting. If you recall, that's the WV bond that was issued and approved by the community in the amount of $150 million. So most of the project that was on that bond, or that were funded by the bond, has completed. There's only a few left, some at Diamond Bar High School and some at some middle school in Walnut. But for the most part, most projects have been completed, and looks like there's going to be some savings as well. So the board of the school board is trying to decide what to do with some of the extra money. 2 more things, I'm done. And I told you guys last time that I was going to attend the San Gabriel Valley COG meeting. I was going to report back, and also attended Cal City's State Board meeting. I was going to report back. So at the COG meeting, they had a presentation from the State Department of Insurance about all the recent disruptions to the insurance market. So they said state government's working diligently, try to come up with a solution. They said the FAIR plan, which is for the state-funded insurance plan, it's in effect, but they're in the process of negotiating with 6 major insurance companies to somehow come up with $1 billion to cover the shortfall, and they are asking the insurance companies come up with $500 million, and the rest of it will go to the ratepayers. So that's something the state is currently in negotiation, and unfortunately, it looks like that's going to mean a rate increase for California ratepayers. So that was the COG meeting. Also, I want to share with you that I was actually appointed to as a Southeast Division delegate to the San Gabriel Valley Regional Housing Trust. The former Councilwoman Patty Perez from Covina stepped down. So the Southeast region of the Housing Trust covers Covina, Diamond Bar, Industry, La Puente, Pomona, and Walnut. So I'll be serving as a delegate for this region. For Cal Cities, well, this is like the most I've ever talked. But for Cal City, so the state board decided on 4 priorities for this year. The first one is protect local revenues and expand economic development tools. The next one is strengthen climate change resilience and disaster preparedness. The next one is strengthen and modernize critical infrastructure. And the last one is secure investment to prevent and reduce homelessness and increase the supply of affordable housing. All sounds great, but it's a little controversial because public safety was left out. And there was a big discussion at the state board meeting on why that was. So if you recall, this is a months-long process that involved basically all the member cities, individual stakeholders. So, and there's a big meeting up in, I think it was Napa Valley, that was there for 2 days. So we went through the whole thing. So that's the four priorities that the board as a whole came up with. And the reason public safety wasn't on it, because that's a kind of, they consider it an evergreen topic. So they say whether or not it's a priority, it's still a priority for the league. But they also said that if everything's a priority, then nothing's a priority. So as a board, as a league, they kind of narrowed down to the 4 things I just talked about for as far as the legislative priority that they will be working on this year. And as the city delegate, obviously I'll continue to attend the meetings and report back on any bills that they choose to support. And I think we will also talk about internally if some of the bills that we want to support. That's it. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you for your diligent participating in those meetings and give us an update. Thank you very much. Councilmember Lowe?
Okay, thank you, Mayor. And yeah, thank you for the nice update, Councilmember Chow. Sounds really busy. Sounds busy on a lot of priorities. Those are really super important, so I guess that's really a good thing. Thank you, Mr. Jacobson, for the great report that you presented. The numbers aren't so great, but that's not your fault. So we just have to work harder and work smarter. I noticed that let me just go back to my subcommittee reports and I'll do my comments. I attended the library commission report. I'm your library commissioner for District 1, which is our supervisorial district. We got a new member. It's Linda Freeman, appointed by Supervisor Solis. And what we did at that meeting was work on some language to, believe it or not, to establish the commission. So after I don't know how many years, we're finally getting that going, so it's a slow going. But in the meantime, the library is doing a lot of different things besides providing books. Most recently, our librarian was awarded the James Irvine Foundation Achievement Award, which is a really very prestigious recognition for innovative and distinctive works. So because of her work in the library. And what we're doing with the library now is that it's beyond just a repository for books, but it's really a community center where it's like ground zero. You can go there for lots of information, health services, information, not the service, but the information, homelessness, again, not to get the services, but for information and direction, social services, mental health. So it's more of a community center for all kinds of information. So that's kind of where libraries are going.
I also attended the Contract Cities meeting regarding, the topic was about water, so that's also very important. But this last period, I had a chance to meet with residents and talk to a lot of people regarding their number one concern, even though it's not the number one priority of Cal Cities, which was public safety. Again, that's our concern here in Diamond Bar. I am personally alarmed at the number of, we call it PC 459s, also known as residential burglaries that are in town. And just looking at the number of residential burglaries year over year, it's really not a pretty number. And I really am hoping that we would work on that further. I appreciated Captain Tozzi's report a couple of meetings ago. And I just think that we need to work harder. I was really happy that in our March Connection, the city's putting together 4 public safety presentations. So if, for residents out there who are interested in this subject, there are meetings on March 26th, April 30th, on September 24th, and October 29th of this year. And most importantly, these are opportunities for you to not only listen to our public safety professionals, but to also ask your questions. And it'll be a good exchange of questions. I noticed that in our budget, when Mr. Jacobson was showing the numbers, that we have an item called volunteer patrol, and I noticed that we've budgeted $4,000 in that account, and so far we have spent zero. So I'm hoping that we can come up with something that, since we have a line item, we have an infrastructure in place in our city for volunteer patrols. I know that this is a group of individuals who care about public safety. They volunteer and donate their time to serve our neighborhood. And it disturbs me that we've not spent any of this money, but maybe it's time to make that program more robust. And if funding is more needed, we can talk about that at our next meeting, because the idea is that we have a budget, we have a public safety budget. For whatever reason, if that's not enough, then let's put our heads together to see what we can do, to work together to make all of us feel and be more safe. And with that, I will say goodnight. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. As the city's delegate on a few different things, SCAG, California Joint Powers Insurance Authority, or Foothill Transit, that takes me to Los Angeles, takes me to La Palma, takes me to Covina for those meetings. And there isn't anything more important than what happens in Diamond Bar to me. It's when we leave this community, we're hoping everything is in order, but things relative to public safety aren't in order. Last Wednesday, a 7th grader on her way home from Lorbeer was chased and harassed by a homeless man. And fortunately, there are 2 good Samaritans on Platina that were able to help her, were able to call the sheriff, were able to call her parents and let her know that she was okay. But a 7th grader shouldn't have to experience that. As it turned out, I think if I remember the information correctly, Ryan, they 5150'd him, and I don't remember if the no bail was San Bernardino or Riverside County. But for now, he's out of our area of concern. So on Thursday, a homeless person tries to break into a guy's home near Gold Rush, scared the bejesus out of his daughter in the back of the house, made his way to the front of the house. And again, things are happening promptly. The sheriff responded promptly and couldn't hold him because he was not a threat to himself or others. Once they decided that they would, what was it? The homeowner said that he could be ticketed, but that would be a ticket and release. All of that brings me to my point, and two colleagues agree. We haven't heard from Mayor, but I bet it's going to be unanimous. It's time for us to do something. It's time for us, and again, I so appreciate what the sheriff does, that when they talked to this gentleman on Thursday night and they weren't able to take action, their response was, we understand, we're every bit as frustrated as you are. And that's not okay, because we're not moving forward. I want us to take action, and if we don't take action, I want to know why we are not taking action, and then fix it so we can take that action. So my ask now would be, I want a public safety meeting that would be available to residents. And I really appreciate the public that the mayor and the mayor pro tem sit on the public safety that we'll see next week or in 2 weeks. And it's great. It's a lot of numbers. I appreciate it. It tells us what's going on. But somebody that has to explain to a 7th grader why something like that happened doesn't come up in those numbers. This gentleman that had to deal with somebody at his back door, at the sliding glass door, how do you explain that to his daughter? So I've already got a call in to the Nathan Hockman, see if we can get something on his calendar. And I know how that works, that we can decide that we'll do that in a week or 2 or 3, and it won't work for him. So let's do it around him. But somebody has got to do something. It really scares me that Sacramento is going to be working on what we're experiencing with insurance, because it won't be good. But we have to have somebody that when we get to Sacramento, and I go every year at Contract Cities, and when we talk to these people, oh, there's nothing we can do about that. Oh, we're working on that. Oh, but it's never about what's going on in the city. That's what Contract Cities is all about, what's going on in the city, and this is going haywire. So that's my ask to City Manager Fox or whoever else, whatever else we need to do, let's get that going.
I want to do that ask as well.
Oh, wonderful. Well, with that, I'll say goodnight and God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I do believe that we are going to have a subcommittee for the safety soon. At that time, I think we can discuss your idea and how we can organize some meetings with the resident and have everybody participate. And maybe have Nathan Hodgman, Mr. Hodgman, have some representative here too.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. And we hear often that we want people to know, we want our residents to know, we hear you. At this point, I got to believe that they think that the city council is tone deaf. So that would be a great idea to make it available to them.
Yeah, I appreciate my city council member colleagues. They are asking we should do something instead of just have the public come to make some kind of a comment, and we say that we hear you, but not much we can do. I think we need to step up to do something, and so we can discuss it during our subcommittee meeting. Also, that we do have a subcommittee for the business development too. I think it's a time that we also sit down and see what we can do to improve our business, and so that facing the decline of the sales tax and the gasoline tax issue, that hopefully that in the next 1 or 2 years we'll be able to do something specifically to help our city to regain some of those commercial activities, so that we have a increasing sales tax to be put on our revenue, so that hopefully that all the council members can work together in those subcommittees and to figure out something with the city staff to do that in the near future. And with that, I have no additional comments. I will close the meeting tonight. Thank you.